You're standing at the counter. $1, $2, and for the 10 seconds it takes to print your ticket, you're already gone. The house, the boat, the job you're never going back to. Everybody buys the ticket for the same reason. Not the money, the escape. Here's the strange part. If you actually win, the kind of number that ends with a lot of zeros, the research says there's a real chance you end up worse off than the people standing next to you who lost. Not because money is evil, because of what money does to a brain that wasn't built for it. By the end of this video, you'll know why sudden money breaks the people who get it, and the one quiet thing that separates the winners who keep it from the ones who watch it disappear. Let's follow the money. You've heard the number. It's everywhere. Every article, every comment section. 70% of lottery winners go broke within a few years. It sounds official. It usually gets pinned on a respected group called the National Endowment for Financial Education. So let's do something almost nobody does. Let's trace it. It leads back to a single think tank discussion over 20 years ago. Someone in the room appears to have said the 70% figure out loud. That's it. No study, no data. One sentence in one meeting. And here's the honest part. The organization it's credited to has publicly disavowed it. In their own words, the statistic is not backed by research and cannot be confirmed. They've said they can't provide any such number at all. So the most famous fact about lottery winners is a ghost. Nobody can find the body. But the stat is fake is not the same as winning is safe. So what does real research show? The best study we have followed thousands of Florida lottery winners and found something far more interesting than everyone goes broke. Winners of $50,000 to $150,000 were half as likely to go bankrupt in the first 2 years. The money worked. It paid down debt. It bought breathing room. Then, 3 to 5 years later, that same group came back, filing for bankruptcy at higher rates than before. When researchers looked at the ones who went bust, they had the same debts, the same empty accounts as people who'd never won a dime. The chilling conclusion in one line: the money didn't prevent the crash, it just postponed it. So the real question was never, does the money vanish? It's why. Why does a windfall that should fix everything so often just buy time before the same ending? For that, we look inside the winner's head. Wealth psychologists have a name for what happens in those first weeks. Sudden wealth syndrome, coined in the 1990s by psychologist Stephen Goldbart. Quick honesty note, it isn't a formal medical diagnosis. It's a pattern therapists who work with the newly rich kept seeing. And it's not what you'd expect. Not joy, paralysis, guilt, why me, paranoia, who wants a piece, isolation, the dizzying sense that you no longer belong anywhere. Winners describe the same thing. They feel like they're drowning on dry land. Underneath it, two invisible forces are already reshaping how they spend. The first, you feel every day even without millions. Hedonic adaptation. Your brain treats happiness like a thermostat. Get a raise, buy the car, move to the bigger house, the joy spikes, then your baseline quietly resets to normal. So you reach for the next thing. On a normal income, that treadmill costs you a little. With $100 million, you can sprint on it. Bigger house, faster car, nicer everything, and never once feel rich enough to stop. The second has a nickname, the house money effect, from economist Richard Thaler. Watch a gambler who's up on the night. They bet the winnings loose and wild in a way they'd never bet their own paycheck. Because it doesn't feel like their money. It feels like the casino's. Found money. Play money. A lottery win is the ultimate house money. You didn't earn it, didn't sweat for it. So some deep part of your brain files it under not real. And you spend it exactly like something that isn't real. Now layer the actual math on top of a brain already primed to spend. Say the billboard screams $500 million. That's the number for TV, a mirage, paid out slowly over 30 years. Want the cash now? It's sliced to roughly half. Call it $250 million. Then the tax man takes up to 37% off the top. Your $500 million just became about $157 million before you've bought a single thing. Still feels bottomless, right? Watch how fast it empties. A dream house, $5 million. Houses for family, 15 more. Cars, a business you know nothing about, and the word yes. Yes to every investment, every loan, every relative. Because at $157 million, what's another few hundred grand? Spend at that pace, a brain on house money and a hedonic treadmill, and the biggest number you've ever seen can be gone in a handful of years. Exactly what that Florida study measured. Not villains, not idiots, just ordinary brains, handed a fire hose. But even a disciplined winner, spending carefully, faces one thing no amount of self-control fully solves. Because the moment the money lands, you're not the only one who knows. The day you win, you get something you didn't ask for, a target on your back. Meet Jack Whittaker, Christmas Eve 2002. He hit a Powerball jackpot worth over $300 million. At the time, the largest single-ticket win in American history. He took the cash, more than $113 million after taxes. Whittaker wasn't broke or naive. He already owned a successful business. By every measure, the winner least likely to fall apart. Then the money did what money does. Strangers by the hundreds asked for help. He was sued constantly. Thieves broke into his car outside a club and stole a suitcase holding over $500,000 in cash, money he'd been carrying around. But the real cost wasn't the money. His granddaughter, the person he cherished most, the one he showered with cash, was found dead at 17. Her boyfriend had died in Whittaker's home months earlier. Later, his daughter died too. Years afterward, Jack Whittaker said the words that haunt every version of this story. He wished he'd torn the ticket up. The vultures, the lawsuits, a family torn apart by the thing meant to save it. That's the pattern under the horror stories. So, the myth is wrong, the psychology is brutal, the money paints a target on you. Is there anyone this doesn't destroy? There is, and what they do differently is almost boringly simple. Here's the reframe, the whole video in one idea. The danger was never the money, it was the speed. A windfall doesn't fail because it's too big. It fails because it arrives all at once, into a brain with no system built to hold it. Everyone who studies this lands on the same unglamorous protections. 1. Slow it down. The winners who keep it treat the money like it isn't real yet. Park it. Don't touch it for months. Let the shock wear off before any big decision, because the version of you deciding in week 1 isn't thinking straight. 2. Stay invisible. The ones who quietly tell almost no one avoid most of the vultures entirely. The target only appears when the news does. 3. Turn the lump into a paycheck, the deepest fix. That house money feeling that makes you spend like it isn't yours fades the moment the money behaves like income. A payout that gives you a set amount every year rebuilds the one guardrail sudden wealth destroys, a limit. Because here's what the whole journey was about. The lottery doesn't hand you money, it hands you velocity, a life moving faster than your judgment can follow. And the people who survive it aren't the smartest or the most disciplined. They're the ones who found a way to slow the money down to the speed of an ordinary life. The ticket was never the escape. Learning to make the money boring, that's the escape. So here's the real one. You just won, the billboard number. And they ask you, the whole thing now, the lump sum, or a steady check every year for the next 30. One makes you rich today, the other might save you from yourself. I know which one I'd take. Let me know in the comments below. And if this got you thinking about the strange things your brain does with money, there's a reason you'll do almost anything to avoid checking your bank account when you're scared of it. It's called the ostrich effect, and I broke it down right here. Click to watch this video right here.